Kabocha squash, Japanese pumpkin. How do you cook this stuff? How do we prepare this? Today I want to go over just some few ways to prepare the Japanese pumpkin and to cook it. How do you clean it? How do you cut it? How do you chop it? There are a lot of questions that people have about this, and it actually looks quite daunting to take one and cook one. Like, you might think, oh my gosh, this looks just like a decorative squash, but no, this does not get the love that it deserves. I'm gonna start off with how do we cut this? I don't use a regular thin, beautiful blade knife for this because it could damage my blade. Now, what I wanna use is a thicker blade, nice thick boy. You don't wanna use anything delicate for this because this is a very tough squash. You don't wanna harm your blade. So also, we have to be mindful. Our cutting board has to be very sturdy. Like, if we put it on a cutting board, look, let me zoom out so you can see this. If you put on a cutting board that isn't on a mat, our cutting board is gonna slip around. I'm gonna do this just for example. Don't try this at home. So say I'm like cutting into it and my board's moving around, boom, chop my hand off. There you go, emergency room. That'd be great, right? No, it would not be great. So make sure that your board is on a nice sturdy surface before chopping anything, really, not just the squash, but especially the squash. Now, let's get back on how I do it. Pointy part of the knife goes into the meaty part of the squash, not this tough part, but the meaty part. Point it down, and then slowly wiggle your way in the squash until we got that side down. And then I repeat this step on the other side. The squash should easily just come apart, it'll snap apart. This sucker could be quite tough, and we don't want to attempt to cut it off like this because we got the rolly situation and it could be quite dangerous. You could try to, but it's just dangerous. So I always say, you know, point in here first, down, flip it around, same side, other side, whatever. Don't know English. And then boom, just snaps right open. Now at this point of time, now I can remove this horrible little stem. See, much easier because this is not rolling anywhere. So this is just the safer way to open up the kabocha squash and then to rip off the top portion. A reason why I got inspired to mess with kabocha squash is because I was at the grocery store shopping and a subscriber approached me, one of you guys, and he said, you know, I love your videos on the internet. And by the way, my son loves your kabocha squash soup. The entire daycare ate all of it. Very random. I've never had that compliment before, but it's really cool to know that kids also love this too. How do I de-seed one of these? It's pretty self-explanatory. You take a spoon, you dig it in there just like you would with any melon or any other squash, and boom, seeds come out. And I like to put parchment paper down on my cutting board first because it's a lot easier to clean up. I just pull this off and then boom, my cutting board is clean and I can keep working. And also I can transfer this wherever I want. What do you do with these seeds, by the way? Can you save them? Yeah, short answer, yes. You could save them, roast them off, and then you're left with the squash pepitas, whatever you call them. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't really do that because I don't need to, I don't have time for it. I don't really have a use for it. If I want, I'll just buy pepitas at the store that are already like, you know, seeded and all that stuff. But this, yeah, you could save them. It would work good. To peel or not to peel? That is the question that everybody asks. Yes, you can peel this. It is a big pain if you peel this though. And if you don't have a good peeler, these blade things, they will like pop right off. But yeah, you could peel these guys. Just take note, it's gonna be more time consuming. And look, check this out. It's not even like coming off very evenly. And yes, I did have to do this at work at times when we had like more refined dishes on the menu. Say like we wanted to puree the kabocha squash and we didn't want that green color in the puree. Well, say you're not doing that. Say you're making a soup that has more depth and you want that skin in there because it has that depth. This really does have a more flavored depth. I like it. And also if you're roasting this, it's gonna have more texture if you leave that skin on. Now I've got some nice big chunks of kabocha squash. Roast these off whole, and you have a really nice texture going on here with the skin on and the big chunks. Or if you want, roast them off whole, puree them, make them into a soup, just like my subscriber said at the grocery store. It makes a really good soup. Now, in case you've never seen this or you don't have this at your grocery store, because I do realize that, you know, middle America probably won't have this, but it smells almost cantaloupe-y. It's got that summer melon smell to it, and it's so nice. It's got a nice sweetness to it. This is, to me, a pumpkin that you could actually eat, because I don't really care for normal pumpkin unless it's like that sugar pie pumpkin, but still, this one definitely beats it. It's got that nice summery melon sweetness lingering there. It's nice. So anyways, I put this into a bowl. This is just how I like to do it whenever I'm roasting things off. I think this is the easiest way to season and lubricate everything. So you can like oil it up very well, get it nice and lubricated. Instead of just like tossing it on the sheet tray and putting all the stuff after like everyone else does, this is the move to me. You just can like easily season everything, see? Toss, 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 season, season, season. And look at that, everything is thoroughly seasoned, see? Okay, so check this out. My oven is set to about 425 degrees, so it's a nice high roasting temp. But what you don't see is this. I have the sheet tray already in there, and the sheet tray is ripping hot. I like to do this because it gets the cooking going. You get a nice initial sear going, so you hear that? That's all the sizzle. And I've got this nice initial sear, so it won't just like steam out, it's gonna get some good color going. Toss it in, and now the process has begun. This is a great way to speed up your roasting process. We always did this at work. I don't know if other restaurants did this, but it's a really great tip. Have your trays in the oven, whatever you're roasting off, you pull it out, toss it on the tray. It's already seasoned, already oiled up, good to go, and nice roasty squash. What I like to do here after this is I toss in some butter, Korean chili flake, maple sugar. Then if you're feeling a little frisky, top it off with some balsamic vinegar, and you've got a really tasty snack. That's a really good way to have it. Straight up squash. All right, that was my video on how to cut, cook, clean kabocha squash, Japanese pumpkin. Let me know if you want any more simple videos like this. I'll see you later. See you later.